Good morning, Yate Loluma. It is Monday. I hope everyone had a great holiday weekend and you're ready to get back into the grind. I know we had a lot of fun. It was came home earlier. We came home on Friday, so we had Saturday and Sunday to relax, and it was nice. We got to make couple, maybe 3 or 4 dozen of tamales, and put up a little Christmas lights or decorations outside. We haven't put up the Christmas lights yet. We were supposed to do it yesterday, but it was a super lazy day. And so today it's back to the office after a little vacation, holiday vacation. And traffic's looking pretty good right now. It's not too bad. I'm supposed to place an order for the shower sidewalls and have them delivered to Malacca. I hope they don't give me any issues with the delivery. And I'm also sending out a bracelet today that someone ordered off of eBay. I picked up some bracelets and stuff from this guy from out home. He was down here and sales weren't going as expected, so he needed some gas money, and I picked up some nice pieces. I also got to get some drawings, some paintings. So the bracelet, no one could fit that, so we just put it up on eBay. I think I have a couple pendants on there too. Looks like some people are still traveling for the holidays right in front of me. They have, I think, Colorado plates. It's a long haul. I think ASU is going to be out in a couple weeks. High school and other elementaries will start their breaks, I think, in 3 weeks. Which is nice. Our educators work hard all year long, and they deserve a nice winter break. Supposed to get an oil change this week and rotate and balance with that, but I'll see. I hope I can schedule an appointment to drop off. And I did get a truck wash on Saturday along with a haircut. Both were much needed. I had a bushy head and my truck was filthy inside. So sit back, enjoy the ride. I'm gonna put on the radio a little.
Which we all know is a losing battle. Give us a call at 623.
Fact from fiction. Clips from video games and images from other conflicts are being misrepresented as showing Gaza or Israel. Some images have been revealed to be generated by artificial intelligence. But claiming civilian deaths are fake takes skepticism and turns it into justification, says Ayad.
One of the toughest parts of a war is believing that your side has been involved in killing civilians.
He says calling victims crisis actors is a way to avoid grappling with that reality. Shannon Bond, NPR News.
Research shows that early school start times are bad for teenagers' mental and physical health. So bad that California has decreed that high schools cannot start before 8:30 a.m. and Florida passed a similar law this year. But in Nashville, most public high schools start at 7:05 in the morning. That's one of the earliest start times in the country. Catherine Sweeney of Nashville Public Radio reports a new mayor wants to change things, but it turns out it's not that easy.
Most teenagers aren't morning people, but it's not their fault. Dr. Kayla Wallstrom is a researcher at the University of Minnesota studying how education policy affects learning.
All teenagers have this shift in their brain that causes them to not feel sleepy until about 10:45 or 11 at night.
But they still need at least 8 hours of sleep.
They don't really fully awake until about 8 in the morning.
That's because of melatonin. It's something you can buy at the pharmacy, but it's also a hormone our brains release for free to make us sleepy. Teenagers' brains release it on average 3 hours later than the brains of adults and young kids. That makes getting up for the 7:05 a.m. first period in Metro Nashville Public High Schools painful. Nashville's new mayor, Freddie O'Connell, wants to push back that first bell.
Prematurely early start times, particularly for adolescents, are problematic from student performance, mental and emotional health.
But getting it done won't be easy, and it could be expensive. One reason high schools in Nashville start so early is busing. Like many districts, Nashville uses the same buses, drivers, to pick up first high schoolers, then middle schoolers, and finally grade schoolers. So the thinking has always been, if some kids have to wait for the bus before sunrise, it should be sophomores, not kindergartners. And Mayor O'Connell admits some parents are concerned about the high school day ending later. It can interfere with sports or after-school jobs.
Many families have a student who is able to work, is expected to be in the academy.
But the consequences of sleep deprivation for teenagers are a big deal. It's linked to depression, increased substance use, and lower grades. Researcher Kayla Wallstrom says figuring out later start times is worth it. She's talked with parents in districts that have done it.
Many parents have anecdotally told me that their child is a different child. They are able to speak with them at breakfast. They are chatty in the car. They don't have moody episodes and fly off the handle. The parents are just saying it's remarkable that this has made such a change in their child's life and their family dynamics.
All because a teenager gets a little more sleep. For NPR News, I'm Catherine Sweeney in Nashville, Tennessee.
This story comes from NPR's partnership with Nashville Public Radio and KFFL News. This is NPR News.
And this is Morning Edition here on KJCC. It's 17 minutes before 6 o'clock. We'll have the Marketplace Morning Report coming up in about 10 minutes. There's an agreement in place between many of the world's biggest economies on safety standards for artificial intelligence tools. U.S. officials say it is a breakthrough, despite being non-binding and China not joining the agreement. We'll hear more about it. At 5:52 in Marketplace, you're on 91.5.
KJCC is licensed to the Maricopa Community Colleges District, who will hold an open meeting online November 28th at 12 p.m. The public is invited to participate. For more, including login information, visit openmeeting.kjcc.org.
A check of KJCC News at 5:43. Could music be the key to helping women who are experiencing sleep problems during menopause? A recent study suggests it could. KJCC's Kathy Ritchie has more.
Roughly 40 to 60% of menopausal women complain of sleep problems, from falling asleep to staying asleep. And lack of sleep over time can affect
impact a woman's quality of life, both at home and at work. Now, a recent study of 100 women shows that music and therapeutic touch, which is a form of energy healing similar to Reiki, significantly affected sleep quality and improved menopause symptoms. Larger studies on the benefits of complementary and alternative medicine, like sound and touch, are needed to confirm their efficacy. The study appeared in the journal Menopause. Kathy Ritchie, KJZZ News, Phoenix.
And to learn more about menopause, listen to our new podcast, Period the End, about really wherever you get your podcasts. On our website at kjcc.org. Cloudy and a bit warmer today. It's 75 the forecast high in Phoenix. On a day we begin to average 71. Temperatures should drop later in the week, and there are some rain chances here in the valley and pretty soon possible around the state. Right now in Phoenix, mostly cloudy, 55 degrees at 5:45.
Support for NPR comes from this station.
In the Tucson sector.
The reason they're coming, they're incentivized to come. You ask any Border Patrol agent, they'll tell you the same thing, is there is no consequences on this border. And then you hear the administration in Washington, D.C. say this. This is about expedited processing of those coming across the border. Very few are being turned back.
Yeah, and to that very point, Maudlin says the social media team will return once the situation permits. But in an exclusive, the Daily Caller News Foundation is reporting that Border Patrol has called in reinforcements to help, and they're pulling them off the border in some cases. In one case, as a matter of fact, according to an internal Sunday message to agency officials that was obtained by the Daily Caller, Border Patrol agents from the Douglas, Arizona station are being called to help agents at the Tucson Migrant Processing Center. That's where they temporarily hold migrants who illegally cross the border. And Border Patrol has roughly 4,600 migrants in custody as of last night at that Tucson, in all of the Tucson sector. So listen to this, Jamie. Just in the Tucson sector, 4,600 migrants in custody. That is an outsized portion of the not even quite 20,000 that we hold nationwide right now. Of the 20,000 migrants in custody right now nationwide, 4,600 are being held.
So almost a quarter of them are in Tucson.
In the Tucson sector, yeah.
Where? And how do we have the space for that?
We don't. And that's what's really interesting is another story that I came across in Axios points out why Governor Katie Hobbs got on the Let's Transport Migrants Out of Arizona plan that she criticized when she was running for office. She criticized that then Governor Doug Ducey was doing it. But now we find that under Governor Katie Hobbs, the state has transported more than 26,500 asylum seekers since she took office in January. This is a cost to the state of Arizona, not the federal government, the state of Arizona, of almost $6 million, according to Hobbs spokesperson Christian Slater, 5.7 to be exact. As of early October, Slater said the administration had bused 15,228 people this year to destinations both in and out of state. So there's been a huge increase just since the beginning of October.
And every governor, as far back as I can remember, well, at least to Janet Napolitano, has been dealing with the same thing and trying to get money from the feds to help cover costs.
Right, yeah. So, once again, you've got Border Patrol agents being taken off the border to help with processing migrants that are being held at the Tucson, what do they call it? It's the processing center. Yeah, the Migrant Processing Center. That's what it's called. The Tucson Migrant Processing Center. And almost a quarter of all of the migrants in custody across the United States are in the Tucson sector, which 4th month in a row had the highest number of migrants. And I wonder if, taking people off the social media duties, what does that take? How many people does that take? Taking them off to deal with this is a sign of really how bad it is. It's 5:48 now at KTAR. And here's Sal LaGuardia in the Valley Chevy Dealers Traffic Center.
Thank you, Jim. It's not great news this morning. I have your first freeway wreck of the morning, and this is going to be eastbound I-10. This is what all the brake lights were about coming into the downtown. So eastbound I-10 at 7th Street, I've got one vehicle blocking the number 1 and number 2 lanes, and then the other vehicle involved in that collision is going to be off left, but it is a tight squeeze as we're trying to get 4 lanes of traffic down through just 2. So give yourself a little bit of extra time, or maybe consider an alternate around that area, eastbound I-10 at 7th Street. And then also have still a lot of volume coming in southbound 17 from about Camelback all the way down to Van Buren. Sal DeGuardia, KTAR News.
Today's high 75. It's going to be partly cloudy tonight with a low of 56 and a high tomorrow of 77 degrees with a partly cloudy sky. Your weather is brought to you by Howard Air. Whether replace or repair, call Howard Air. KTAR News Time, 5:49.
The red and the blue.